What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Fight. Today we jump right back into the Wakanda Forever November update. Today specifically what I want to talk about for this video should be really short, sweet, and quick. Is a breakdown of the newest feature, which is the ability to equip more than one card deck. Now, I haven't unlocked this, and I haven't unlocked it for a reason. Now, it's very interesting to me that we essentially got card deck number 2, where we can unlock this now for 1,000 crystals. I'm going to hold off on this till Black Friday because maybe it'll be cheaper, 50% off or so. And to be honest with you, I don't have a need for it, and I don't think a lot of players have a need for it at this time. What's interesting to me is that we have been asking as the players for quite a while, not for a secondary card slot option. What we've been asking for is a secondary CTP option, which means that we want to have the ability to equip more than one custom gear. So that way, if I was to say have a character like perfect character would be like Hulk, right? Instead of having to equip a mighty CTP for him for every generation for this, I would like to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to equip a CTP of Regen and I'm going to equip a CTP of Rage for this character. So that way I can switch back and forth between the two when I'm playing different content. But, that's not there. So instead of that, we have ended up with a card deck 1 and 2 that we can now equip. Now, pay attention to this because like the substats for the equipped cards will apply to all characters. We know this. For each card deck, you can select the content that will be affected, right? Now, the interesting part of this card deck options is why. This is not me joking around. This is my first impression to this. What would I use my options for underneath card deck 1 that I wouldn't use underneath card deck 2, and specific to which one of these modes? Like, I'm looking at the modes that they have listed here. So I have card deck 1, and right now this is applied to all content, right? So I can edit the deck that I want this to be, that I want to use for these options and so forth. But I don't see any reason why I would have a second deck for many of these options. For instance, Pierce is king in the game. It has been king in the game for quite some time now at this point, right? Is there a benefit to me going outside of Pierce for any of these options in my card decks, right? Because essentially what I'm looking at is like I'm looking to meet stats that will max out characters in terms of their overall abilities, right? Meaning like let me see if I can do this for you guys. The easiest way I think I could do this is if I was to look at M'Baku, right? So M'Baku is one of my newest characters, basically received today. So let's pull up M'Baku. Here we go. Let's pull up M'Baku, right? Oh, he's not there. Why is he not showing? Did I type his name wrong? Clear this out. I don't know why that didn't pull out. That's interesting. That is very interesting. He didn't pull up for some reason. Where's M'Baku? All right, there goes my man M'Baku, right? So if I was to go inside here and I was to look at M'Baku's details, I have no enchanted Uru. I have no skills leveled up. I have no type enhancement. I have no ESO 8s. I have nothing equipped to this character. So everything for the character is basically raw and only affected by my card stats, right? That's how all of our characters basically shine out, right? So because, and you can look at this here, right? So for instance, card deck 1 is being applied to this character, and already you can see that my attack speed is maxed out. My crit rate is at like 47.4%. Now he gets whatever stats he's getting from his normal as well, but you can see what he's getting from the cards, right? So my cards are basically giving him these level stats. You can see he's getting nothing from ESO 8. This is what he gets from his basic gear levels that he currently has equipped, meaning like if you were to look at his character gear right here, that's what he's getting those stats from, right? So that's the gear stats that he's getting. These are the ESO 8 stats. I have no ESO 8 equipped to him. These are my card stats. This is what he's getting from the Shield Archive stats, which really only affect Instinct more than anything for the Shield Archive. And then this is what he's getting from the agent stats, that if I had like any agent stats that were applying being buffed, right? So essentially what we're looking at is card deck stats, right? So when I look at the character overall, I can see like, hey, his ignore defense, he's receiving 55% from my card stats. That's basically taking him over what he needs to be. The reduced cooldown duration is at 33.8%, right? Then we can look at some of the other stats and go on like fire resist, he's getting 20, dodge, he's getting 55, which is really cool because I only got to get to 75, right? Crit rate is a little bit low, it's at like 28.10. So this is basically essentially what you're looking at. And then he's getting an additional 22% pierce damage and an additional concentration buff of 2% from my cards currently. That's essentially what you're looking at from the cards being applied. So then when I look at his details on a whole, I can see that he's pretty much maxed out in attack and speed. He's maxed out in crit damage. He's maxed out in ignore defense. He's maxed out in movement speed and cooldown duration. And he's almost there to being maxed out in dodge. Now, I would want to bump up his HP buffs and his recovery rates and things like that as much as possible to order maximize all the stats that I can, right? That's essentially what I'm looking at. And you can see he's getting 12,000 damage from physical attack on mine and 4,800 for cards. These are important stats to basically understand. So essentially, if I was to go inside my card inventory, right, these are my own cards inside here. So I can look at these cards over across the board and be like, why would I have two different stats inside here? The stats that are pertinent to me inside of World Boss Legend, right, are essentially still some of the same stats that are pertinent to me inside of, let's say, Timeline Battle, right? Because those are really the breakdowns and the differences. It's like we're talking about the difference between PvE and PvP content, right? Am I going to build these decks any differently in order to adjust for each of those contents? I don't think so. Not to that degree. Now, I mean, there are some people that I think that this could benefit in terms of min-maxers, maybe, but yeah, I don't see it, right? I don't see it. I don't go get where it's going to. What I don't like most of all is what this could be possibly leading to in terms of changes for the game that they're probably going to be rolling out in the next year or so. And I'm very wary of those. Like, for instance, when I remember at one point I looked at my deck stats, and you can see these, like my attack speed, crit rate, my crit damage, you know, like my all basic attack and everything like that. My physical attack is really high because I have, like, you know, the Wakanda cards equipped. I did tell you guys I'm a Black Panther fan, right? You can see my dodge and my all basic defense and my max HP. And at one point I was like really concerned about that, right? Like, I was like, man, my stats just don't look that good. And I remember going in here and I end up looking at, like, there was one day I was watching Beast Mode Gaming on YouTube. He was doing like a live stream or something like that. I think he showed his cards, right? And these were the cards that he had equipped inside here. He had a complete, like, you know, pierce set inside there. And I was like, yo, man, damn, he's getting some pretty nice stats inside there. And I was like, well, what is he getting? What's the difference between his stats and my stats? You know, are they that greatly different? And I noticed that, like, between him and some of the other streamers, like, does he have some really good stats inside his cards? Like, are they, you know, maxed in areas that, you know, maybe I could max out mine and others? Max HP, yeah, all basic attack, you know, I'm off there by, you know, 10-20% in certain areas. Looking at those, I would definitely like to max out my HP and stuff like that more, and definitely use more energy attack than physical attack, because a lot of characters are energy attack based, and the good ones are typically in that realm. That's just the truth of the matter, right? But it wasn't that far off where it was like, you know, is it really affecting my gameplay that greatly? You know what I mean? And so, like, in that vein, I'm wondering, what is the purpose of having, you know, these comic cards? Now pay attention to the fact too that if you have like a comic card, so like these are the ones that I currently have equipped, right? So if I was to look at my Luna Snow, could I re-roll my Fire Resist? Yes, I could re-roll my Fire Resist and try to hopefully go inside of Ignore Defense and get that up. But do I really have a reason to when it's already maxing out my characters? Not really. So there's not a whole lot of reason for me to re-roll that stat inside there. It's providing me basically good stats. My all basic defense, my crit damage, my ignore defense down here, these are good. Could I try to re-roll these for a higher 7% so that way I'm getting more stats on here? Yes, I could do that, and that could be helpful overall to the character in the long run, because I think you get like 11% instead of 10%. I think it is. Like if you looked at my Black Panther, you know, it's 1% difference basically for me to re-roll these. So you can look at my Black Panther card, for instance, and I'm getting concentration increase from this because of the dodge and the physical defense, which obviously I don't want. And then, like you can see, the all basic attack increases 11% over here. So could you do those things? Yeah. But what reason would you really have to play out specific content? If I'm playing story, is this any less better than me rolling other cards in here? Be also understanding that you can't use the same card in both decks. So like if I have my one Luna Snow card, these are the cards that I own, right? So I can't equip a Luna Snow, like I'd have to have an additional Luna Snow card instead of having that one Luna Snow card that is already part of my equip in my card deck one. I would have to have another Luna Snow card that's basically starred out, maxed out to put in my card deck number 2. This is why I'm a little fearful of what this is pointing to down the road. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment below. I'm dying to see the instances that I might be unaware of as to how this additional card deck is going to benefit, you know, the players overall, other than maybe another effort to monetize min-maxing at the whale level. Maybe that's all it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.